Welcome to Milestone 2. Just to recap, TACE theory is a clean slate approach to solving security. It doesn't build on anything that's really gone before. It doesn't use TCP/IP, and it doesn't use the client server architecture. So it's really a revolutionary approach to securing information. And as a result, there are some backward compatibility issues. But as we'll see through the course, these can be addressed through virtualization and emulation of PCs. Now what we're going to do in Milestone 2 is slowly take you through the very basic TACE alpha environment implementation. As we continue through the course, we're going to add complexity as we go. Firstly, let's have a look at the 6 layers that TACE is comprised of. There's the TACE alpha environment, the beta, the gamma, the epsilon, the delta, and the zeta. Now today we're going to just look at the alpha environment and take a look at the implementation of that in the BI3. So with each layer there's an implementation, and that uses a specific format. There's a circuit layout which describes the circuit for that particular environment. In the alpha environment, that's very simple. It's a basic von Neumann computer. As the environments increase in complexity, this turns into a node on a grid network, which can also be simulated on an FPGA field programmable gate array fabric. And that's the same architecture whether it's on a chip or whether it's on a grid, so it becomes quite complex, but we're just going to start really simply to start off with. After the circuit layout, then the specification describes the primitives, and these are instructions that are used by the CPU to reference resources on other microprocessors. Then there's a section for describing the factory load, which I'll describe later, and then a section for booting the system, and then the normal operation of the circuit, shutdown, and then any formal interfaces that are used. Now last milestone we talked about how the TACE theory of absolute information security was in fact just a general theory and it wasn't a specification, but the BI3 is a specification. TACE has a number of abstract criteria that it defines the theory in, and when the BI3, the specification, adheres to this, it starts resolving some of these criteria, and these criteria must be resolved all the way through till the implementation. In Milestone 1 we talked about TACE being a theory. Now the BI3 is actually a specification, although it is still abstract. There's a fine line between the theory and the specification. The theory uses a lot of abstract criteria which are resolved in the specification, but not all those criteria are resolved, and a number of them are left for the implementation and the substrate, and finally the configuration. So as you can see from this table here, we try and show how we track the resolution of those criteria. Some of the criteria are resolved in TACE, the most broadest, such as solving the malicious client problem. They're almost statements and general wishes of what should occur. As this moves down into a more concrete form, these resolutions become defined. So we've structured it in this table from left to right, from the most abstract on the theory side to, on the right hand side, the most concrete form, which is the implementation.